Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Friday to you all. Hopefully, you are enjoying the start of your weekend. If you're getting started early, hopefully, your working week or school week wrapped up nicely. Let's get into the music for the day. This isn't new because this is technically from earlier in the week, but we are jumping back with the CRAXY members one time. Because they've dropped a video for their mixtape single, No Limit. Now, we've checked out CRAXY before on the channel. We've checked out their previous two releases, I think. I still very clearly remember listening to New Gudum. It was actually quite a good song. Very, very elaborately written song. Very powerful song in terms of its message. Written also in a way where it very much stood out from a lot of other songs in the genre. And I'm very excited to see what they've brought next in the kind of mixtape format. Admittedly, this don't actually know what mixtape means. Because for me, when I think of mixtapes, I think of like actual mixed tapes where people rip music off the internet and put them onto like CDs or cassette tapes. Yes, even though I'm only 25, like growing up, we had mixtapes like that. So I don't know what this is like, but you know, it's CRAXY. It's a group that I do have a keen interest in. As even as like a casual fan, I do have an interest, and I've always kept up to date with this group. So here we go. Now this is in. Oh shoot, wrong window. There we go. I have kept up with CRAXY. Admittedly, yes, I am late to this, but this week there was a little bit of planning I had to work my way around. But it's happened again where for some reason every single time we check out CRAXY on the channel, on the exact same day we listen to iChillin'. The previous two occurrences, they've had releases on the exact same day. Today, CRAXY came back, what, 3 days ago, and then I think iChillin' had a release yesterday, but we're only getting around to them today. And we're getting around to them on the same day again for the third consecutive release that they've had. Which is really weird, and I did not plan for this to happen this way. It just kind of worked out that way, and I just felt that that coincidence was really weird, really strange. But that's besides the point. Let's get into the music, shall we? Here we go. No Limit by CRAXY. Classical sample, nice.
Yeah, things are changing in few situations, and it became another level from the bottom to the motherfucking top. I'm born in Taiwan 1997. 아무것도 모르던 그때가 어쩌면 that's my heaven. 이치 몰라 거치기 동시에 꿈을 밟고 또 휘몰아 시고 덤덤이는
Hold on, I gotta pay attention.
No more 성공을 향해 I want more 비치는 비밀 느껴져 see me I wanna be me 정상이 되려면 미쳐야 되는 거 what? 내 question들을 적어내는 펜슬 이젠 정답을 찾아낸 내 옆방에 네 펜슬 갑자기 되는 제가 어린 찰나고 대만 빛 넘치는 배짱 깡따고 맺혀보는 날 밀로 와꾸면 계속 내가 마음을 떠라고 떠디던 것들 어디로 됐어 well You better teach me more 배운 crazy bitch I don't care 이대로 내가 갈 길을 갈래 저기 위 I'm brand new 해진 것 같지만 value를 높여 다시 난 눈을 뜨고 보니 계속 늘어나는 팬도 Baby you like it
Switch up the flow in your own line, okay? They say it and like they mean it, they're not sure, they're not kind of sidestepping around the curse words, okay? CRAXY, hell yeah. I was about to take a sip of my water. Where are we going with this? Hold up. Mid-song genre switch one time? vocals one time. Let's go. That was wait up. It's over already. Huh? Wait, hold up. That was really cool. Whoa, whoa. Okay. Breathe, relax. I need to take a sip of my water because I was very rudely interrupted by the most glorious of mid-song genre switches. Hold on. Holy smokes, what did I just witness? Like, straight up, what did I just witness? Because that was kind of cool. That was. No, let me rephrase that. That was really fucking cool. Oh, okay. Okay, CRAXY, you are giving me some things to work with. First of all, can I just say. Oh, this is gonna be impossible to find, isn't it? Where is it? Where is it? There's one line.
V.O. By the way, we're not crazy, we're CRAXY.
Iconic. And honestly, I feel kind of seen, because before I paid attention to the Hangul, I also thought it was crazy. But no, it is. They aren't crazy. It's CRAXY. But also, what they're kind of doing with the music is a little bit crazy, and I kind of like that. Is the thing. So, I now understand a little bit that, this mixtape supposedly is very much kind of like a mishmash of different styles of music based off of the person performing, which I think is really neat. It's really unique. There have been albums where you've had members have solo songs and they're showing their kind of musical tastes on their own terms within the group's projects. Like recently, we've had groups like Icon, who I think there were 3 member solos at the end of that album. Dreamcatcher, they're a 7-member girl group. They had their most recent studio-length album, the Apocalypse Save Us album. It was kind of like 2 EPs back to back, where you had a group half and then a solo half. Like all 7 members got their own solo on that album. CRAXY, what they've done is they've kind of done that, but put it into one song, and admittedly, that kind of statement of bringing in different member solos into one song feels dangerous, feels risky, because the more kind of varying genres you get across each member's solo, the harder it becomes to tie them in together. But what CRAXY have done is really smart, in that even though, yeah, the switch from the rap to the melodic is extreme, all things considered, because of the way that the industry has kind of reincorporated that mid-song genre switch, and it has become sort of a norm for a certain niche group of artists, that even if CRAXY does something like this, it doesn't feel that far out of the ordinary, and that definitely works in their favor. Because the style switch we get moving into the melodic, like especially here. Actually, let's go back.
By the way, we're not crazy, we're CRAXY.
Give it a pause, flick. And then you're straight into the melodic element. What they've done really well here is give the song enough time to naturally transfer over to the second phrase. And I think that's really important, especially on a song where the style switch is so extreme. Like, what's one that comes to mind right now? aespa's Next Level? Novice Calling. And then it goes into that kind of like R&B vibe. After the marching beat, Super Junior's House Party. Gets into the party vibe, and then skirt. Or I guess it's the rap part, and then skirt, drum fill. Everybody now. Hey, here we go. It's that switch. what those songs do well is they have a little element in between that transitions between the two musical phrases. No Limit is no different. There's that little riser. Silence, flick, riser. That riser leads straight into the melodic piano in the background, and it's perfect. It's a perfect sound and transition, especially now that this next part of the song does have all of the risers included in it. And then this final switch into this almost rock type beat. Again, it's very similar to that kind of melodic, kind of shining piano based slower element, you know, lots of risers in it. And again, it's that natural incorporation of the riser within the previous phrase. Risers are great for transitions between musical elements because it adds a little bit of white noise to the song that allows for that masks the kind of more jarring transitions in between two pieces. And you're going from one bright piece of music to another fairly bright piece of music, even though the sound of it is significantly different. Like, gone from more like melodic, almost ballady type, majestic, slower piece into a, you know, more crunchier, faster rock type beat. They're very much giving off the same type of energy when it comes to the songs, which is why that transition feels so natural. Even though the style of music is very different, that transition is so well executed. And essentially, it's the same deal with the rap verses in the beginning. We'll actually jump back to that real quick, but... oh, this. Interesting choice of the classical sample again. I can't remember what the piece is called or who it's by at the moment. If I figure it out, I'll put it in the description. If I figure it out by the time I hit the upload button on YouTube, I will put it in the description. But I can't remember it right now. But it's a very famous classical piece. And I think it's a really interesting way to set the tone of the song, because it really doesn't... it does get the song rolling, but it doesn't really give away what the song is going to be. Maybe, I guess they're going to start with kind of an old-timey thing, but that's not necessarily the case with classical samples. I do like the fact that more groups are doing a classical sample, though. Because as someone who grew up playing classical music, I very much enjoy it. But switch up the beat.
Things are changing in few situations, and it became another level from the bottom to the motherfucking top.
Again, really nice transition. Start with the slow dramatic build, and then go into the motherfucking top beat switch, and that naturally leads into this verse. And then I want to get to the second rap verse. This is like musical silence. Using musical silence as a transition piece. But it's the same concept of it. Obviously, it's not a silent transition. But it's the fact that the instrumental track just all drops out and all you're left with is like the snapping sounds, the snapping rhythm, and her whispering in the first lines. It's almost like using a blank slate or a moment of silence as a transitional piece, because ultimately there is no real melodical element to that phrase anymore. And that transition using the whisper to set up the second verse is so clean, and I love that transition into it. I went back too far. And then bring in the second verse, much heavier on the 808s. Like, if we're talking about verses, this is very much more rap-centric verse now. We had the little element of auto-tune, but this is very much your prototypical rap verse now. And it's again kind of on the stylistic choice of... And then this is almost like a continuation of that second verse. Even though the flow's different. Tagline. Even though like the verse is different and the person delivering the verse is different, the beat is very similar. So it's this time it's another one of those. The song doesn't really change, but the flow does, and that's what's signifying the next member. It isn't the music behind it, but it's the top line in front. So it's not just different musical styles every single time. They can share music, like MRs and backing tracks, but just bring in a different type of flow. Because transitions aren't always, you know, clean cuts every single time. Because music isn't just boom, boom, boom. It's not just singular blocks. There's different elements, you know. You have your percussion, you have your bass, you have your instrumental track, you have your background harmonies, you have your vocal top line. It's a multifaceted block of music every single time. So not everything has to transition all at once. You can have different elements have transition at different places. And CRAXY kind of just took that and said, yeah, let's experiment around with transitions. And nothing feels out of place for me, which I love. Yeah, hell yeah. I'm down for this. Once again, CRAXY have done something a little bit musically out of the box. And I love that they're continuously doing that. Because whether it be stuff from their Nugudum era or even, I forget what their release was before then, but CRAXY never do things traditionally like by the book. When it comes to, I know this is a mixtape, so this is a little bit different, but even like last title track with Nugudum, they broke free from standard pop song like writing conventions. They're even on things like this No Limit mixtape video. They're doing things that aren't typically seen in the pop scene. And this isn't like a one-off thing. They have done this on multiple occasions, and they've delivered on it every single time. And it's almost given me that kind of music, like rebellious music kind of dealio, where very similar to how I feel about Only One Of's music, CRAXY are doing something that just throws every single like pop song convention out the window and just spits on it and says, nah, we're doing things our own way. And I love that they continuously do it because they're forging ahead onto the path less traveled on. They are doing something that they're doing risky things. They're challenging their own music in a way where people aren't going to replicate this because this is an extreme gamble in terms of composition. But CRAXY have now come to be known as the group who do all these experimental things with their music and who constantly break out of the mold that is pop music. And I love that that has become a thing that I can identify them as now. Because for me, until last year when I first discovered CRAXY, they were very much another one of the new girl groups that I kind of had in the back of my mind. But now that I've been following them a little bit closer and their music a little bit closer now, they, every single release, have provided me with something that I can really rack my musical brain around and really delve into the little nuances of each piece, why it works, why it's special, but overall, why I like it so much. It's never a challenge to understand CRAXY's music, but to break it down requires a little bit of brain power. It's not an easy listen in that I can have it playing in the background and I'll get it off first rip. No. There are intricacies, multifaceted intricacies to CRAXY's music. but it's never overwhelming or complicated. I just need to take the time to think. And I love that. CRAXY every time have done that for me. And I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him. Probably means I should probably learn the members' names soon. Next release, I'm going to try and have their names in the knowledge banks. But that is it for me today. This was an extremely long ramble session for me, but I genuinely enjoyed this song so much. But hopefully you all enjoyed it as much as I did. One last note from me today: let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back out into the world, whether it be, checking in with your friends and family, holding the door open for somebody, even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day to day. Know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life for whatever reason it may be, even though I'm just some random guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, and, well, as you clearly saw, I can waffle a lot about music, that I will always be a friend, an ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.